Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining this podcast. For those who do not know me, my name is Arkam Chima, your very own copywriter. And the topic of today's podcast is about a recently launched tool, a simple tool that can change the lives of all the Amazon sellers and all the service providers out there. So to discuss more about this tool, we have invited a really great we really get guest on stage who is the CEO of Pelavix, a seven-figure Amazon agency owner, and he is also the marketing consultant and the brand ambassador of Cellzone. So without wasting further time, let's just invite Will here on the stage.
Excellent. Arkham,
Hello,
thanks
Will.
for having me. Excited to be here to chat with everybody about CellZone, which is a really great tool.
Same here, Will. So let's just start with your brief introduction and get started.
Heck yeah. So thanks for the intro. I think you covered it pretty good. So Bellavix is a marketing and management company for marketplaces. So we help brands scale their presence on marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart through operational support, customer service, brand protection, marketing, SEO, and advertising. And just want to call out, we're no way paid by CellZone, so we happen to be a big fan of the tool. We use the tool on all of our accounts. It's become part of our software stack. And I'm happy to be here as an ambassador of CellZone to share some of my experiences using the tool on Amazon to help brands achieve scale.
All right. So, Will, let's just start with the questions, and without wasting further time, let's just start with the first question. So, as you already know that there are multiple tools in the market already, like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout, and they're already like covering a lot of the market. So, how Cellzone is planning to take over those customers, or those loyal customers, or are they planning to build a new market, or what is going to be?
Excellent. So I'm not 100% sure what their plan to scale is, but what I will say is Cellzone's new to the game, and what their big advantage is if they're part of one of the largest SaaS platforms around, SEM Rush. Uh,
Yeah,
like anyone else who gets into Amazon, they likely started doing general advertising and SEO like myself, which is the gateway to get into to Amazon. So with that being said, Cellzone has some really unique features that these other tools don't have. To call out a couple, the Amazon Traffic Insight, which analyzes
hmm,
both internal and external data to give you a holistic view of a specific product. And this is great. For example, the brand referral program is a program that Amazon rolled out, give or take in October or November, that allows you to
yeah,
get a discount on your fees for any referrals from off Amazon sites to a product page that leads to a sale. Obviously, you need to
yeah,
be connected to attribution. So this tool can give you insights into which players are kind of leveraging that tool. And then something else to keep in mind: the keyword database is just so much larger than, in my experience, than Scout and Helium 10. So it gives you more insights into longer tailed keywords, which is great when you're optimizing your listing or considering advertising campaigns. So I'm a big fan of the keyword wizard tool and the reverse
yeah.
ASIN lookup, which I think is kind of what everybody uses. Just to add that on, their listing quality check tool, in terms of the available feedback, it tends to be a little more in depth. I like the UI UX, so it tends to be
Yeah.
a little more intuitive, easier to kind of get details and feedback. And some of the things that I guess one of my favorite feature on that specific tool is the style guide, and incorporates Amazon style guide in its recommendations, and that's a
Yeah.
big gap from any of the tools on the market. And just to top it off, if you guys are curious, try out the demo. I know part of this they have a link with some type of deal, but if you have any
Yeah.
questions, stack these tools side by side. I mean, that's the best way to learn which tool is going to be best.
We are going to share that deal in the end of the podcast. So let's start with the second question. How how accurate cell zone stat is? Like everybody knows they are backed by SCM Rush, and SCM Rush is quite popular because of their data. But I'm not sure if SCM Rush is also extracting Amazon's data as well. So how accurate the Amazon's data gonna be on cell zone?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're actually extracting Amazon data. I know that Amazon only lets a few companies into that. I do know that like most of these tools, they're using third-party data.
Yeah.
which they provide through partnerships. So the quality of the data comes down to the quality of the brand and the partnerships. With any of these, just to call it out, it's for ballpark figures. It's not meant to give you an exactly what you're selling. So when we use these with our clients and companies we work with, we take it with like 70 to 80% accuracy. I happen to think that the Cell Zone tool is one of the most accurate, but it's still
Mhm.
designed only to give you ballpark, to give you an idea. Is this an opportunity? Is this a niche? What is my competitor doing better in terms of its sales velocity and how it pulls the data there? So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but it's more accurate in my opinion than Jungle Scout
Mhm.
and Helium 10, and that's likely linked to the quality of the external data due to SEM
Mhm.
Rush just being around a long time and having built a lot of these relationships, which you're leveraging for CellZone, obviously.
All right. So a couple of days back, I was testing the keyword wizard tool, and there's a very astonishing point there that Cellzone is also offering the relevancy of each keyword. Like some of the keywords were not too much relevant to the product, but they were a part of the niche, which our niche was quite broad, so we needed those keywords. But when we were researching for that same product on some other tools, we couldn't see those keywords. So this was a really good edge in terms of cell zone. But now question is how cell zone is dedicating their relevancy. What's the logic behind it? Do you know something about the how the algorithm is working? Maybe
Yeah,
we
so
can crack it a bit.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't have I'm not privy to the information of exactly how the algorithm works. I mean, message cell zone, they'll be able to give you the best insights. But what I will say, based on my experience, it's the same thing if you searched uh, gun, for example,
Yeah.
inside of search, you'll see massage guns. You might see some adult type guns, and
Yeah.
you also will see like guns that stop people in their tracks, if you will.
Yeah.
So similar to Amazon, it's all about relevancy. At the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's going to give you the slew of keywords most relevant to the main keyword being searched, and then Amazon's algorithm is showing what sells the most, what has the most sales velocity when somebody searches these specific keywords. And the system is smart enough to know that. It's your job as the operator when you're actually using the system to go in and negate some of these words, to remove them from search so that the final list of keywords that you end up with are the most
Mhm.
relevant to the product you're trying to research, or the keywords that you're trying to incorporate into your listing, the backend, or anywhere else you might be using it.
Okay, so the next second question is a bit like popular among our community. We have seen that there is a sub tool called split testing. So far we are using external tools for all these testings. There are no existing tools for that. So the question is, for example, if I have started a campaign, a 7 days campaign for the main image, and I am going to test that for that same image for 7 days. So how it's gonna work? How that same image or my previous image will come back? Is it is this Cellzone's gonna handle it with Amazon, or what will happen?
Yep, Salzone handles it directly through Amazon through the API. However, the technology actually works to do that. I'm unaware of.
Okay.
There are other tools that do that inside of Amazon. Manage my experiments, but it doesn't provide the interface that Cellzone does. It doesn't actually declare a winner after you run a split test. So what's nice about Cellzone, it's actually split testing it over a 7-day period directly on the product listing, and then you're able to kind of review that, and then it'll say, hey, based on this many impressions, this one had a better conversion rate or click through rate, whatever you're using to measure that specific product for success. And then it's super simple to actually publish it if you're going to switch from the previous version to the newest version. You literally just hit publish, or you can revert to whatever it was before if it did have better numbers, better figures, so on and so forth. So for me, and this is like similar to SCM Rush, they really have the user experience down pat, making it a lot easier than navigating through Amazon's dashboard or using any of these other third-party softwares that just may not be as relevant or as easy to use.
Mhm. So the old content will revert immediately, or we have to like contact the customer support, because sometimes it gets a bit messy with Amazon, because sometimes they are not changing the image, sometimes already know all those
Yeah.
problems. So who's gonna handle those problems?
Yeah, I mean, you would handle those problems, but it's linked in through the API. So I've never had an issue where I had to open a case to swap it back. It does it automatically
Hmm.
when the experiment ends. And then you have the opportunity to either publish or unpublish, depending on what the winner is. And you're
Okay.
able to do that all directly from the CellZone platform on the back end. So technically, if you didn't want to, you don't have to log in to cross check or anything else.
Okay, so far, Cellzone is entirely targeting the private label community only. So why not the wholesale community? Because currently there are no tools in the market that are focusing on the both sub markets. So what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, my opinion, it's a huge opportunity, and I think it's a great recommendation. They should be focusing on the wholesale community, just similar, as long as you have the ability to be brand registered and do some of the split testing. But even if that's not an option, the keyword research, the reverse ASIN lookup, like a lot of these tools and features you could incorporate into your advertising structure. So depending on your business model, if it's a wholesale, if it's retail arbitrage, or if you're an actual brand trying to grow, there's different levels of it. Why they're targeting just kind of, it seems like new to Amazon, probably because it's easier to kind of get your tool out to more of a general public. But to your point, I think the wholesale community is a huge opportunity, and hopefully for somebody from the Cell Zone teams listening and taking this back to their programmers so they can get their messaging on point.
So far you might have experienced that majority of the people are going for the external audience. All the big brands are going for Instagram, Pinterest. Pinterest is a really good platform to generate like cheap leads. So in terms of like extracting the external audience data, is Salzone also going for the Pinterest and IG data as well in the future? Because that's going to be a really good in terms of competitor spying and figuring out works best and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome recommendation. And for us too, like we use Pinterest all the time to get an idea of like what people actually think sells well based on imagery, and then looking at the two compared to Amazon listings and looking for gaps in the market. So I think
Mhm.
that's a huge opportunity. As far as I know, it's the external traffic's based on Google organic, referral data, Amazon organic, and shopping ads. So I'm not sure how they piece all that together to kind of give you the external structure. From my awareness is that they're not doing anything with social. But if I'm wrong, hopefully I'm not wrong. So as far as I know, there's no social data. It's just mainly based on search, which is what
Yeah.
SEMrush is great at.
Yeah, because all the data is, I believe, all the data is coming from SEMrush, and they are backing all of it up to make it more accurate. And the one question is, which I was getting repeatedly from my friends, that after reviewing the pricing structure of CellZone, it seems a bit pricey or seems equivalent to other tools in the market. However, other tools like Helium 10 is offering much more in terms of offering offers. For example, in their basic tool, they are giving their Freedom Ticket, which is a complete course
Yeah.
for all the newly launching sellers, all that stuff. And there are some other things that as well. So what's the pricing strategy behind all this? Why they are like selling at the same price along with other mature brands?
Yeah, I they do offer some free resources through their blog, which I happen to think is pretty good. Obviously, the competition have a Chrome extension is something that needs to be
Yeah.
worked on. I would just say keep in mind this is a new product. Why we use it at Bellavix is we put a lot of value, especially on the advertising side of things, on the keyword element of it. So for us, the listing quality checker, which we use for listing optimization and SEO, and the keyword wizard as well as a reverse ASIN lookup are just such
Yeah.
better quality that we're willing to pay. We're willing to pay what as much as we would pay for some of these other brands because we put more value in that. It doesn't mean that it's right for everyone. If you're maybe doing more product research on products you're going to launch, or need less details to make decisions or whatever else, these other tools might be a good option. But these are the three reasons why at Bellavix we say it's worth the price. And a lot of it comes down to keyword relevancy, how to incorporate keywords, like if we're talking strategy, growth, how to put that into your ad campaigns and your accounts. long tail keywords that people aren't identifying are just huge opportunities. Not to mention
Yeah.
complementary products around those specific keywords and keyword themes. So for us, the value really is in those aspects of the tools, which to us are just much better than what's existing out on the platform. And if anybody from SellZone's listening, calling it out again, we'll love a Chrome extension with some additional features. Hopefully that's in the
Yeah.
plan for 2022.
Because the main thing that's like setting back Salesforce from other tools is that they are just limited to the United States market, and it's not available for the other markets that's a bit down trendy. But hopefully in the 2022 or in 2023, they would be coming up with some more features. And there's another question regarding PPC. So Salesforce also offers PPC optimization. Salesforce PPC Optimizer, I hope it's called Salesforce PPC Optimizer. So how good is it? Is it gonna be like other AI tools that's gonna consume all my budget, or is it gonna be something that will save me from paying my PPC manager?
Excellent. So we actually haven't tested this tool yet. It is something that we'll be rolling out. So unfortunately, I can't give any conclusive data just because we haven't tested it. But if it's anything else that's out there, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty good. Only time and data will tell. But it's good that they're on the cutting edge, and advertising is the next logical progression in kind of their development because when it spends money, it tends to be the most interest when we talk to clients and when people are figuring out how do you grow your brand on Amazon? How do you get started on Amazon? You need to have a budget, you need to advertise. So with any luck, as they roll out this tool, they learn from some of the other tools mistakes that are out there, and hopefully their AI is just a lot better.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. So one last question. So let me just check it out. There was a really good question out there. I was saving it for the last. So what's the target audience of SellZone? What I'm seeing that what I experienced that is not like too much in depth in terms of data extraction. For example, the experienced sellers like to take all the data from a specific set of tool, put it in Excel and do it manually. So what's the target audience of SellZone? To whom they are targeting? Are they targeting new sellers? Are they targeting sellers with some moderate knowledge, or what's it going to be?
It seems that they're targeting new sellers. A lot of the information that they give is like how to get started, basic SEO 101. So it's a great tool for anybody who's like trying to figure out which products to source and how to get started on Amazon. So I think the tool is barred on there. And it's kind of unique compared to some of the other tools. Helium 10, for example, can be very in-depth and overwhelming for somebody who's new to the space. This tool, like I said, the user interface and the user design is just top notch. It's smooth. It's easy to use. So it is designed for kind of the newer seller to market. But like I said, the data around the keywords is top notch, and I think it outperforms any of the other tools on the market.
Okay. So I just skipped one question from my mind, and that was, let me just check. Okay, so tell me something more about SellZone, which like completely sets apart from all their competitors. What are those specific like 5 or maybe 6 features? What are they, and how nobody else in the market are having it?
Beautiful. Like I said, the keyword research is probably the biggest because it'll give you. I think last I heard they had like a database of close to 200 million keywords, which is insane. I mean, uncanny, really. So being able to kind of get that granular, being able to segment, not only being able to negate, but being able to segment so you can understand user intent and where it lines up on your funnel, looking at it from, loyalty, who's searching your brand, product searches, relevancy around different ways people search for your product, complementary products, how people look for products complement to your industry. They're in the aisle, for example. Substitutable products, what products or what solutions are they using instead of yours? Competitors, of course, and then discovery. So how are people discovering and researching that? Because their data is linked to actual Google search data, you're able to get how people search, how people inquire, get that holistic view. So not only can you learn what you can do on Amazon, how you can leverage those tools on Amazon, but you could also figure out how to take different themes and incorporate it into your blog, into your advertising strategy off of Amazon, and implement some of that into your actual website. Outside of that, I do want to call out the reverse ASIN lookup. Like I said, very important tool. If you're doing competitor research, being able to group some of these together, figure out what actually ranks, how they rank, where they're getting um, choice badges and other features. Like um, this is what I think is better than some of the tools on the market right now. And like I said, I'm beating a dead horse, but I think there are competitive advantages around the keywords and the granularity of those keywords. Outside of
Mhm.
that, the split testing is very useful. We
Okay.
split test pretty regularly, especially if we're launching new products. So being able to test different main images, um, titles, for example, are just where you can put a lot of emphasis. It's going to give you your biggest bang for your buck. And you should always be constantly kind of testing and iterating based on information you get. And we don't like to keep it to 7 days, so we'll run a test over and over again over a 30-day period, and we might
Yeah.
tweak small things. It's, in my opinion, and some people might have other opinions, but multivariable testing is very difficult to kind of figure out what exactly pushes the
Wha-
needle. So,
Yeah.
so split testing, where it's just simple A/B testing, is the best way to go about it, and the software allows us to do that.
Yeah. We all were just concerned about that. Do we have to like revert all of it back and fight with Amazon and customer support and stuff? So telling this that reversion is like automatic is quite a relief. Now there's a small recommendation by the community that, for example, now the new sellers, they are like more knowledgeable. They are finding those products which are not only like limited to Amazon, which can be sold on like on Shopify or any other marketplace. So SEMrush also has a really big chunk of like data. So why not in the product research to why not connect that data with the product search? For example, some of the products are only available on Amazon and not much, or only available on Google and not much popular on Amazon. So why not share that data and combine it with Sellzone? So it can give an idea that how good this product can perform on Google or maybe IG or maybe Facebook, and you can select on that on based on that stat.
Yeah, I think that's a great recommendation, and I love tying in the social media aspect. So if anybody from Cell Zone's listening, I think that's a huge missing feature. They have the data from Google; they're using it inside their
Yeah.
traffic analysis. So I'm sure to some degree, as they're analyzing listings, there's the opportunity there. When and how they incorporate it will be really interesting for us who are using the tool. They are
Mhm.
constantly making changes and improving on it. We're actually part of the beta group, so we're in their Slack community, and we're constantly asked to test things out. They get our opinions on how new features are and also what features should be rolled out. So a lot of the suggestions you're
Okay.
making will definitely be shared within the community.
Okay. So there's one last question. Like for example, if I'm coming up with a new product, I would be considering one thing in mind, that how good or how bad my competitors are performing. So let's just consider the listing quality tool. For example, are there any features that I can get an average or a chunk of all the listings on the first page and get their average quality score, so I know how good they're performing and what where are they lacking and how I can improve?
Excellent question. I'm not actually 100% sure about that feature. I believe they have something you can analyze the competitor aspect of it. My operations team is likely using that a little more than I am, so it's a gap in my knowledge, but an excellent question. And I'm pretty sure if you go onto the Cell Zones page and the listing quality, they have not
Mhm.
only get a free trial to try it out, but it kind of goes through some of the features around the listing quality tool. We use it a lot to improve the existing listings based on keyword research and the recommendations it has, because it follows Amazon's terms of service.
Mhm.
So anything you do will be within terms of service. I'm not 100% sure if they're actually incorporating competitor data. If they are, that is fantastic because that's how they.
They are doing, actually they are doing it, but we have to do it one by one individually. So for example, if I want to extract the data of the whole first page and there's going to be like maybe 40-60 listings, that's going to be a tough job. So I was looking for something so I can just do one click, or I just enter the keyword and it gives me an idea of all the ranking listings and something similar to it.
Yeah. Not there yet. I know you can put them in one by one if you'd like, but unfortunately, it's a little more manual, which is a drawback
All right.
of the tool right now. But doesn't mean they're not making improvements.
Yeah, sure. So is there anything else, Will? Do you want to share, and we can end this end this podcast and get back to our work?
Heck yeah, heck yeah. I would say just try out the demo. They're offering a special offer to everybody who participated in this podcast. A great opportunity to try the tool. Like I said, we're more smitten by the keyword aspect of it. So I definitely recommend trying it out and stacking it up compared to existing tools. And feel free to share your experience on Facebook, where you can find CellZone, or of course on LinkedIn. They're pretty active.
Yeah. So there is a special gift, and I'll be sharing it tomorrow. So Salzone is offering like $1 for their whole month subscription. So all the participants in this podcast enjoy all the features of Salzone in just $1. So that is it. Thank you so much, Will, for joining this podcast. We will be surely holding some more podcasts in the future as well, and hoping to see you there.
Excellent. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Same here, same here. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody. Thank you for joining this podcast. Bye bye.